Yeah, look, I'm holding my hands as we talk. I'm sweaty. I mean, not as sweaty as I was yesterday, but I need to talk to you about something I've never actually talked to you about.
In this episode of Work Wives, Sarah gets raw and real about her self-image. We discuss our bodies, our dreams, and our reality of what's gotten in the way of us taking care of ourselves. It's hard to be vulnerable, and more so when we're putting it out into the universe through a podcast. But Sarah has gone there, so go there with us as we pull down our barriers and get honest about self-care, self-image, and the struggle to put ourselves first. Hello, Sarah. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. I had a realization yesterday, and it was pretty profound.
Oh, wow.
So much so that I actually wrote my first ever real blog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And my understanding is that we're coming into this podcast with you telling me about it. You have not told me about it, and you wanted to save it until we were having a chat with each other on the podcast to get my reaction. Is that right?
Yeah, look, I'm holding my hands as we talk. I'm sweaty. I mean, not as sweaty as I was yesterday, but I need to talk to you about something I've never actually talked to you about.
Really? That seems difficult. There is little that we haven't talked about.
8 years working together, countless conversations about work and everything else in our life. Yesterday, I had an epiphany, and I'm at that stage of my life that I have to act on it.
You have to act on every epiphany that you get at this stage. Okay.
What are you saying? I'm getting old. My twilight years are near. Okay, so I actually titled my blog, I Just Don't Identify as Me Anymore.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to read you the start of my blog, and we'll see how we go. Okay. So as you know, the weather has been absolutely crap in Queensland lately, and I haven't been getting out and doing my lovely, beautiful walks that I love because it's been rainy. And literally in the complex where I live, where my house is, we actually have access to a communal gym.
And let me also just let everybody know that Sarah's mental health is largely bolstered by physical exercise for her. So if she can get out in the morning and get out in nature, have a walk on the beach or get to the gym, she generally will have a great day. A lot of ideas will come to her, and it's good for your mindset.
It's how I've always functioned, and it's just a part of, it's like air for me. I love to exercise. I've let myself go over the years as far as my level of physical ability. Right. But yeah, it was really great. I got my little swipey and I went into the beautiful gym, which has got a great view of, the gardens where I live. And obviously it didn't go so great because I wrote a blog.
In the gym?
In the gym. So let me read to you what I wrote.
Okay.
I write this from the floor of my newfound friend, the gym. Yes, I'm down in the trenches on an RSL-looking carpet that smells of body odour and sweat. I tell myself it's to be accountable, but in reality, I guess it's because I'm actually avoiding doing the exercise I came here to do. My realisation today is that I don't identify with what my body has become. There, I said it.
Wow.
When did I become a little bit frumpy, a little bit softer, and a whole lot lumpier? A little bit more cottage cheesy, a little less bendy, and dare I say it, almost middle-aged. When did I start to wear soft, comfortable, sensible shoes, full brief cotton undies and mum jeans from Target? And even then at times struggle to put them on over my hips. When did I stop being that young, fit, loving, playful girl that loved getting out and inadvertently got exercise? That fun-time girl that could eat and drink as much as I liked on weekends. I used to wear G-bangers and I never fluctuated. I always had a flat tummy and a tight touche, and I always fit into my skinny Sass and Bides. I used to get them on special through the radio station I worked at. You see, the problem with growing up tall and skinny, and I'm not saying that, woe is me, but I was blindsided, Anna, because I thought I'd always fit into a little size 8 and that the weight wouldn't stick around. And then somewhere after having babies, I hit my 30s and now I'm in my early 40s and I love it. But it's really hard to identify with the body that I see in the mirror. I don't identify it as being me.
Well, firstly, let me say that as frumpy and lumpy as you make yourself out to be, you hide it well.
Well, that's very nice of you.
And I don't think anyone should ever apologise for Target jeans because they are extraordinarily comfortable and I'll never be sorry.
Amen to that. I have matured and that is one thing that I am very, very happy to say I can wear.
So is it that you feel... Are you sort of like mourning the loss of a body that you don't think you'll ever have again?
Well, I think mentally I still identify with the 23-year-old me.
Right.
So don't get me wrong. Like, I love what my kids have done to my body, that I have grown 3 beautiful children. I love being pregnant, that I could grow them, feed them, nurture them, and care for 3 beautiful, amazing babies. I love growing them in my tummy. And they were the best moments of my life. I don't blame the pregnancies for making me this way. It's probably got a little bit to do with the fact that you and I are prone to a baked brie and a few savvy blancs.
Oh, yep. I'll do it.
Maybe the kids are the ones that drove us to those savvy blancs,
Yep.
so maybe I can blame them. But I think the problem is with me is that somewhere along the lines you stop prioritizing you.
Right.
And, you stop doing wonderful things for yourself. And here I was yesterday procrastinating at the gym. I gave myself moments to shine. I gave myself that space and that time to go to the gym, but I slumped down and I wrote a blog. I am overdue for serious exercise and I can blame the weather, but I do have a gym near my house. But I think also what it brought home to me is I'm actually overdue for a lot of other things for myself.
Yeah.
I am actually overdue, and this is just going off cuff, and I'm sure there's more, for a dental appointment. I have a varicose vein that has popped up.
Yeah, that one's been hanging around a while.
Thanks. You should, see?
No, not you. No, only because anytime we talk about, what we need to catch up on, you're like, oh, yep, that old vein's got
Well, I'm happy for you to tell me that it's there because it's probably...
I've never seen it.
Okay, out of mind, out of sight.
Okay, yeah.
I am overdue for a pap smear. Mm-hmm. I am overdue on a skin cancer checkup.
Oh, that's important.
And on Mother's Day, all the beautiful children drew photos of their mums. And the teacher who Gracie has is an absolute card. And when she saw me coming, I saw her wink at me and came over to check out the photo, the beautiful drawing that Gracie had done. And in that beautiful child's beautiful colours of her mum was dark regrowth.
Oh, no. Bless Grace.
She captured me with regrowth. So I'm overdue for all of this.
Yeah.
And yet my kids are not overdue for a thing.
Yeah.
In fact, my horses are not overdue. They get their 6-monthly teeth done. They get their worming. They get their shoes done. Mm-hmm. And so where am I at the bottom of this long list of people in my life?
Yeah.
I'm missing appointments for me, and I'm probably, and we all know this as mums, I should be putting myself first so that I can be the best possible version for them.
So in this blog that you've written, or while you were writing it, I guess, was there a point where you came to a conclusion of where you could head from here, or are you just sort of arms up in the air limbo at the moment?
Well, I think pressing start on the treadmill would have been a start. And I put on weight and it doesn't seem to, I honestly am not one of those people who, we grew up in the 90s, our role models were Kate Moss.
Yeah.
I don't look at that anymore. I love being healthy. I love being fit, but I am literally a taxi to my children.
Yeah.
My children over the years, and I think mums everywhere would be nodding their heads, they've had a crack at it all. Swim squad, gymnastics, ballet, nippers, basketball, tap, jazz, Irish dancing, athletics, yoga, horse riding, just to name but a few. And it also, I think, triggered in me amongst all of this, amongst all of the snacks, the oranges, the costume changes.
Your kids do eat a lot of oranges.
They really do. There's a funny story about that. But where have I done something to stretch my abilities?
Right.
You know, to enhance my athleticism, you know, spark joy with teammates and, you know, get that team capacity joy that you get, you know, to push my body. Somewhere about driving my kids all over town, I have just not even considered putting myself into the schedule.
For a lack of time, do you think? Or just because if you do have time, you will slot in something else above yourself?
I think it's a lot, you know, Anna, I juggle a lot. I have a husband who travels.
Yeah.
Between my 3 girls, they do a lot of activities.
Yeah.
We also have 2 horses that we are currently adjusting, so it's driving around. And I also often work weekends as well. So I think I'm just stretched to capacity. But that's an excuse, right? Because I know once I start exercising, you get up earlier. You can sneak in an extra 20 minutes of exercise at night.
Yeah.
It's all, you know, it's all relative, right? When you're looking after yourself, you want to keep looking after yourself. So it's just you fall off the treadmill of life, I think, and you become this person who still is happy, but when do you suddenly become a mum and stop being you?
I don't know. I guess it's a transition thing, but I think there's also a lot of society. Yeah, there's a lot of societal pressure as far as the body's concerned. We like to think that society lets us grow old gracefully, but that's certainly not the case because we still hold ourselves to the standards of Helen Mirren and old Joan on Instagram, who's 76 and, you know, body builds 200 kgs on a given day. You know, like we see those extreme benchmarks, and even though that's not the reality for most people, we still beat ourselves up if we're not there. So not having the body that you had when you were 23 was always going to be the case, but I guess we still, there's something that we mourn about not being there, not having to divide our time now with children that we didn't have when we were 23, and marriages that we didn't have when we were 23, and all of that, you know, family, parents growing older, friends that we didn't have. We do have a lot more on our plates. But if you are prioritizing yourself in your life particularly, I think something has to give. Something has to give. So what's going to give?
And it has been my health, and I guess effectively from that stems so much. It's my me time, my, you know, tighter rig. But to name a few things. But I think that it is time, and I guess that's why I'm having this conversation to you, is to take accountability.
Yes.
And if there is anybody resonating with this chat, you know, to any degree, let's make the appointment to put ourselves first. So I've been talking to my daughter about maybe doing a little, I mean, I don't do anything in halves, right? I mean, you could think I could start walking around the block, but my daughter and I have talked about there's an upcoming pink women's triathlon.
Oh, wow. Pink for breast cancer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. You can do all different levels. And her and I both love swimming and running and, you know, not bad on a bike. So I'm thinking about doing that with her because I think if I have a goal, it might make me, you know, pull my finger out.
So when is that?
I've got to look it up. I'm starting slowly. But not only am I going to do that, I'm going to start making the appointments for myself.
Yes.
The appointments for myself that I have, you know, I would not dare miss my children's dental appointment.
Right. Yeah.
I would not dare miss my goddamn horses.
Yeah.
Worming. But yeah, somehow as women, We do. We filter and it's almost like you kind of put a mat over it and it festers, I guess, and it just keeps building up. But yeah, I'm going to set the challenge for anybody that's resonating with this. Today, by the end of today, make an appointment for you.
Okay, you've prompted me. I have a toothache that is slowly but surely turning into an abscess. So I am today going to make that appointment for myself.
Yay! No, honestly, because when you do get the abscess,
I know, yeah. I'll be regretting that I didn't book it 2
Going
months
now.
ago. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you've got 2 babies,
I do, and one of them doesn't take a bottle at the moment, so he's kind of tied to me. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't made an appointment, because I, like you, have a husband that's not home very often because of his job, and so I can't make an appointment in work hours unless my baby's with me. And how am I going to go and sit in a dentist chair and get a filling? Like, how's that going to happen with, bouncing a 6-month-old on my leg, you know? So.
And don't you think too, when we have small children, I remember thinking, I'm breastfeeding. I'll wait till they're 9 months. I'll wait till they're 12 months. It almost gives you justification in your mind that, yes, okay, I've just got to get my child to this level.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, the tooth isn't going to get any better, and I don't know when he's going to stop breastfeeding. So I just need to organize someone to look after him while I go, and just make that the priority.
Yeah, and it's honestly, don't get me wrong, I actually don't want to fit into my size 8 sass and bites.
I do.
Mine are now essentially what my daughter called antique, and I told her that she can have my vintage jeans.
Very retro.
But yeah, I think mentally a lot of us as women, we still identify with a certain age. And I still feel like I am young at heart. I still feel like that girl that could dance on a podium in a nightclub all night long. And I'm not going to have that taken away from me, because I am young at heart. I do like to have fun. But I think the best example we can set to our children is to be the best versions of ourselves. No one wants grumpy Anna walking around with a headache for the next 6 months because her wisdom tooth is exploding within her head.
Wisdom tooth or not, they're usually going to get grumpy Anna, but I'll try and make it without toothache.
So there you have it. If I can ask anybody listening there today, and it doesn't even have to be a medical appointment. It could be something that you just want to give back to yourself. Did you play the saxophone in school and you haven't picked it up in 5 years? Did you used to love cross-country running and it's been a while since you've thrown on the headphones and just headed out into a forest? Is it even just giving yourself a massage or going to the movies and just clocking off for a while from the world? Do something for you.
Words of wisdom from Sarah May Alexander. 2022.
All right, I've just got a few phone calls to make.